I think everyone can see my slides. Hello, I'm Martha, and today I'll be talking about how we organized our model predictions that were stored in Zarr with STAC, a journey and a case study. I think it's like quite common the first time you hear about STAC to hear it associated with formats like COGS, and there's like so many tutorials out there. It's like really comforting and really familiar and like easy to dive into. And it seems like this is starting to change. There have been some lively discussions at other showcases and on like GitHub and on the forums about working with your Zarr files in STAC. And there's some like open source repos to help you, but it's just kind of like less documented and that's starting to change. And we wanted to present a really simple use case, or a lot of the conversations seem to talk about querying your STAC catalog and getting your items back as Zarr files, but we want to start with a Zarr and then we want to like read it in with Xarray. So, what we have, our model outputs we've put into our STAC catalog are predicted tree canopy heights, and they're a pretty simple format. They're stored in Zarr. It has the usual time, XY dimensions, and just a single data variable. So I think the structure of this data has lended itself well to STAC. It's basically as simple a Zarr file as you can get. So maybe if you have more complex Zarr files, you're going to run into different issues. But this is what we are working with now. And it was pretty important for us to keep our model predictions in Zarr and access them from the Zarr files because we don't stop with our canopy height model predictions. We really need these as one data point to understand if carbon projects are over or under credited and how many credits they should have. So we do a lot of downstream analysis with these in Xarray. And then our goals for this, we wanted to make it easier to integrate our model predictions with downstream applications. And the first kind of requirement is we want to query over space and time. And we also want to query over additional top level attributes such as the model version, and STAC can kind of fulfill both of those requirements. So here's a little diagram of what we have going on. We have all of our model outputs in Zarr. Those get read in as Xarray data sets. And then all of this was powered by the lovely open source package XStack. It was pretty straightforward to use, and there were like no issues. It worked the first time I tried it, which was very exciting. All you need to bring to XStack are Xarray data sets and a template. And since our model predictions are pretty uniform and we control them, all of the predictions can live within the same template, which lends itself really nicely. Every single time we run model inference, we can now generate a STAC item with the usual properties. Our asset points to where the Zarr file lives on the cloud, and then we can start to add unique properties for our queries like model version, data inputs, and we can also improve traceability by adding like workflow execution IDs and additional like metadata about the model. We can organize these into a collection, and then this collection can go into our existing STAC catalog. I think the benefits kind of just sound like the regular benefits of putting your data in STAC. We've had the ability to put more structure into our lives with our model predictions. They were kind of a little bit wild and untamed. Now it's easier to discover them. And this is also really important. We get questions, has the model run over this area? Do we have different versions over this area? And instead of someone answering, we can point them to a visualization. So the data is like more accessible for people who don't work directly with this model. As we already talked about, it fits in well with our existing workflows. We just do the STAC query, those Zarr files are returned, and then we read them in with Xarray and merge and do the downstream computations we need. It's also compatible with our existing visualization tooling that we use. We can query the STAC catalog and go to a lovely visualization of our Zarr files. Our visualization is powered by Earthscale. It's a very fun and delightful experience to be able to see these data And then we can share these maps so other internal users at Pachama can understand where we have model predictions instead of that feeling more abstract from them. Yeah, I want to thank you all, the open source community, for the lively discussions and package development, and my colleagues.